Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering what turns a good book into real opportunities. It's one thing to write a book, it's another completely to capitalize on it. If you don't uncover the right call to action, your book is going to fall short in terms of leads and revenue. Think of it, all of your effort, all of your struggle, only to fall short? No, let's avoid that. By the end of this video, you will learn how to connect your book's message to your sales funnel and other offerings, how to build real authority, and how to take the next big step forward in your life and career. And stay tuned until the end of the video for an opportunity I really think you're going to enjoy. Let's dive in. When you think about a book and all the doors it can open, a book is so many things. It's the ultimate business card, it's a door opener, but you need to connect some pieces in order for that to happen. Otherwise it could just be a paperweight or a doorstop. This is not just about a doorstop. This is about deep connections. It's about networking. It's about making the most of the message and carrying it forward. Getting people to want to work with you, connect with you, meet you, book you for speaking engagements, hire you. It could be so many different things. You need to connect those pieces together with a powerful call to action. Your call to action is one of the most important elements of your book if you're interested in trying to drive revenue from it. This isn't just a pleasure read where you're making the most of it and just enjoying the writing process. This is about trying to generate revenue from your book. If you don't have a strong call to action, you're never going to be able to generate the right amount of opportunities and leads. So this is a crucial piece of the process. And when I talk about call to action is one of those kind of nebulous words that if you're not understanding what that is, it can be a lot. A call to action is really like what you want the person to do next. What action do you want them to take? Maybe it's to go to your website. Maybe it's to follow you on social media. Maybe it's to post on social media. Maybe it's to go and do something out in the world. You want them to do what you want them to do. You want them to follow the steps. And if you don't lay out those steps for the reader, they're not going to follow them. You need that call to action. If you're interested in learning more, if you're interested in hiring me, if you're interested in this or that, you need to get them to take the steps and lay out those steps in very clear terms. And when I think about writing a book and putting in calls to action, I like to put one in the introduction or early into the book. I like to put one near the end of the book, maybe somewhere in the middle. It really depends, but it's kind of formulaic in a way to be able to put the calls to action in those certain places. In order to capitalize in this book, you need to understand your audience and their pain points because you need to speak to them directly. What are they struggling with? What are they having trouble with? If you can't speak to them and explain how your book is the solution to their problems, they're not going to want to keep reading. And if they don't want to keep reading, they're never going to get to your call to action. So there's a process involved in getting them to this place. You need to get them excited and lay out in very clear terms from the beginning what the problem is and what the solution is. And I'm not saying you tell them everything that they need to do, but the fact that you have the solution is key. You need them to know that you're the person that can help them, that your book can help them. Because if they don't know that, why are they going to want to pick it up or even keep reading at all? They might flip open to page 1, say, I'm bored, this doesn't speak to me. You want to speak to them directly. What are the challenges they're facing in their business, in their world, in their whatever? You want to speak to them directly and allow for them to see and recognize that you're offering the promise of a solution for them. And then you have to deliver on the promise. When I started talking about this video and all the things I can accomplish in it, if I start the video by saying, I'm going to do this, this, and this for you, and I don't do it, you're going to leave a bad comment saying, you didn't actually answer any of my questions, and now I'm frustrated because I wasted my time on this video or reading the book or whatever it is. It's the same thing. You need to lay out the problem, the outcome, the fact that you uniquely are qualified to help them, and then you need to deliver on that. And a lot of times when I write a book, I will, write that introduction, write that call to action, write the promise that I'm explaining to the reader, And then I will go all the way to the end and read it through and say, did I fulfill that promise? Did I do what I set out to do? Because if not, now we got to make changes to the front of the book or the back of the book or the middle of the book. Something missed somewhere, so we need to figure that out. But by putting out that problem, laying out that you're the solution, establishing a call to action, you create an opportunity for a pipeline of leads, opportunities, engagements, new clients, whatever the case may be. But just being able to map that all out sets the stage for that. When I think about the outcomes for writing a book and the opportunities that come, it's really about building authority. You want to establish yourself as the go-to person in your space, the go-to answer. When a journalist wants to write a story about something, you want to be the person they call. When you think about a keynote address, they're reaching out to you, and you're putting yourselves in position to be, asked about those things. So it's not just about writing the thing and publishing it. It's about being visible enough in the industry and in the space to get the message out there. So it's, really networking, connecting. It's really taking the steps for yourself. But this is about building authority. This is about building your brand. I know it's tough to talk about brands sometimes because people get tied up on that, but each of us has a brand that we're constantly working on, good or bad. And brand gives us an opportunity to really build out further, to establish ourselves and recreate ourselves and reinvent ourselves. You might not be an expert on this thing right now, but maybe 2 years from now you will be. There's so many times when I've worked on a book, and it's really interesting when I can work on a book with somebody and now become an expert on a topic because I've written a book about it or ghostwritten the book about it. I'm doing research, I'm learning. Through your book, you can become the expert. You can become an expert in this space, even if you aren't right now. I think it's really exciting to be able to find that balance and to establish ourselves as an expert, because if it's not an area of expertise for us now, it could be down the road. If you write the go-to book about a specific topic, you become the person. So it's really special when you can unlock your expertise and lay it out in a way that's empowering for people. But again, all this comes back to that next step. It's all about taking the next step. It's all about the momentum forward. The book is just the beginning. The book needs to be awesome, yes, but the book is just the beginning. It's not just about the book. It's about what do you want the reader to do once they're done with it, because they're so inspired and motivated by the book that they want to connect with you. They want to work with you directly. They want to meet you. They want to know you, and they want to be a part of your network, that you're building this thing into something bigger and bigger and bigger. And this book is a great way to really jumpstart that and to tighten timelines. When you think about otherwise becoming an expert in your space, what does that even look like? Maybe you go to some conferences, but do you really get noticed? Do you stand apart? You need to do something really special, but then what? People forget about it. The book is a chance to remember. The book is a chance to really hammer these things home and galvanize them and make sure that people do remember, because otherwise people are quick to forget. You could do all this stuff and be very successful, but if you don't put it in writing and don't establish it and document it and put it out there for people, they're never going to know. So there's always missed opportunities there. The book is a great way to get the words down. It's a great way to memorialize things. It's a great way to help build your career further, your life, all the things that you're trying to accomplish. If you want to learn more about what turns a good book into real opportunities, there's another video I recorded that I want you to check out. I'll link to it on the screen. It's called, Is It Worth Writing a Book in 2026? These are interesting times, and interesting times are an opportunity for you to get your message out into the world, an opportunity for you to take the steps for your future and figure out what's in store ahead for you. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.